Tell us about how. So this Saturday you partied in Miami. They shut down Miami. They curfewed the whole thing. What happened this week? By the way, in Miami.
Show. I mean, we're gonna get into this topic right now.
Tell us.
So
Tell us what happened.
Okay, I'll just give it to you from my personal experience, and then we can kind of go deeper. I remember being at this place called the Soho House, which is sort of a local. I mean, they're in every sort of major city: New York, L.A., Chicago.
The private club for media.
It's a private club. Yeah, got to be sort of in
$4,000 or
media.
$5,000 your membership type of thing.
Yeah, a little bit cheaper, but in certain places. But point is, we were there hanging out. It's like, it's just a weekend chill out, locals. And people start passing around like, alert. Did you see this alert? Did you see this alert? It's probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon at this point. Is by the time we're getting alerts on our phones, text messages. And
so you start clubbing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, we're just
very impressive.
We're at the beach.
It just
we're
wrapped
at the
up
beach.
the previous night.
This is not a party scene. You're hanging out by the pool. You're having a beach. You're having lunch. It's nothing crazy. And there's alerts going on. They're saying that the entertainment district, like the heart of South Beach, is shutting down at 8 p.m. Shutting down. So we're all like, I mean, we have dinner plans. It's the weekend.
Now, which mayor shut it down? Because there's there's a couple mayors.
There's specifically the mayor of Miami Beach. His name is Dan Gelber.
Okay.
Not Mayor Suarez. He's the mayor of the city of Miami. And then there's a different mayor, mayor of the entire Miami-Dade County. So this was specifically Miami Beach. And in my opinion, this was certainly a necessary move. Like, look, you're in California. You know that you've been on lockdown for a full-on year, and everyone hates Gavin Newsom because, they're recalling Newsom because he's way too far left, way too lockdown, precautionary measures. People have been praising Florida and our friend of the show, Ron DeSantis, for, keeping Florida open and keeping jobs and bringing business. But this is sort of the ugly side of staying open. So it's the perfect recipe when you have, an open state, cheap flights, spring break, stimulus, pent-up demand. Everyone's coming to South Beach. And in this certain pocket of neighborhood, it's the party scene. So in my opinion, what they should have done differently was not announce it at 3, 4 o'clock on a Saturday. Oh, by the way, bedtime's in 4 hours, everybody. Are you freaking kidding me? They're already out there in the streets having a great time partying. Say starting tomorrow, Sunday, this is what we're going to be implementing.
It's too late already. Though.
Yeah, but they rolled it out horribly, and people have been on lockdown for a freaking year. You're telling me you're getting a $50 flight to Miami Beach, and usually the hotels are $400 a night, and you're paying $150, and you're coming down with your buddies, and you just got another $1,400 in your stimulus? Because these aren't spring breakers. These aren't like 20-year-old college kids. It could be 30-year-old grown men who are just, I'm trying to get out, get it in, women, men. And look, masks, social distancing, that's not even a freaking thing going on right now. It's hot out. So.
Were you wearing a mask? Were you being socially responsible at the club?
Of course.
No, I'm actually being serious.
No, I was,
Were you wearing like a nice, look at him.
Am I trying to hang out with 10,000 people like at a freaking concert? No, but am I social, like, look at us right now. Am I wearing a mask? No, but it's not, to me, like, it's a messed up situation when were you wearing a mask is like the 10th thing to bring up, right? Like, were you wearing a mask? It's like, bro, there's so many other things going on here. So, and then there's the ugly, ugly, ugly side of all this where people are getting arrested. I think there's 1,000 arrests over the last few weeks. Half of them are out of state. People from out of state.
1,000 arrests in the last few weeks in Miami.
Yes.
Okay.
And over 50% are from out of state. So these aren't locals getting loose. Crazy people like Tom coming in from California, trying to live it up.
Yeah. Can I have a shot at this?
Go for it.
Go for it.
This what a coincidence. It's a red state, right, where all these arrests are happening.
Just push back. It's a purple state. This is like the most purple state. It goes from red to blue quite consistently. We'll call it red.
I'm going to look at this a little bit differently, from a different perspective. Maybe somebody in the media or somebody that's a little bit more skeptical of things. This thing seems staged to me. This isn't just a coincidence where 3,000 people can't handle their alcohol suddenly on Saturday night, so they got to start jumping on cars and looting. No, this is planned. I mean, I think the chaos is when you see chaos like this in this country now, there is some level of organization to it. I'm not saying
Please
100%.
explain what you mean organization.
It's not a coincidence. They keep branding it as spring breakers going wild. Like you said, these are not spring breakers. They can't afford to go to South Beach. There's no college student in the country that says, hey, man, I'm going to spring break on South Beach. They just don't do it. They go to Fort Lauderdale. They go to Destin. They go to Fort Myers. They go where it's cheap. Right? Where the booze is cheap, the hotels are cheap, and where there's other college kids. These are adults. This seems to me that it's a little bit more organized and not a coincidence that people are just happy to go bonkers because the country's finally open. It's been open in Florida a long time. They were partying on New Year's Eve and New Year's here in Florida. So I don't think it's that. I really don't.
Go deep, Tom. Go deep. Go deep here.
That's about as deep as I want to go.
No, meaning like who's organizing this? What do you mean?
Idea. I'm gonna stay with the fact that I think it's more organized than a random thing that just happened to break out 4 nights in a row.
Politically organized? Are you saying like social activists?
Well, let's face it here. Let's face it. So let's just say, give some credence to Tom's point, right? For the sake of debate and conversation that we're having.
I want to have that.
Okay, who would do that? Just think about why would they do that and who would do that? Who ended up getting a ton of praise during COVID at the end?
DeSantis.
Not at the beginning. At the beginning, who was God of the greatest? Cuomo was unbelievably more responsible than anybody else, and Newsom. How's Cuomo looking today? Not
so
that good.
Fraud.
Cuomo and Deshaun Watson are in the same place right now.
What the hell's that story, by the way?
Yeah, that's a very weird story with what's going on there. Anyways, he keeps them. Actually, Cuomo's in a different place than Deshaun Watson, but similarities. They're just going after. ESPN wrote an article about Deshaun Watson. ESPN typically protects players, right? Because they tell them they hit him yesterday, and it wasn't. I don't know if you read that or not. It's like 12 different stories.
I know. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So, but you look at Cuomo, then he gets there, and then all of a sudden, DeSantis is everywhere, and Abbott didn't get the credit at the CPAC to be someone that could run for office. Whether he does or not, that's on him. But the leading candidate right now is DeSantis. So you have to, if you think the same way Twitter silenced Trump and everybody's silencing Trump, and YouTube is saying we would consider in the future bringing Trump back and lifting the suspension. Google's thinking about lifting the suspension. Twitter said there's no way in the world. And now Trump is talking about the fact that he may start his own social media company that's been in the talks. We'll talk about that here in a minute. DeSantis is a leading candidate. You got 2 people that are leading candidates for 2024. One is Pence, one is DeSantis, and Trump is the wild card because no one knows what he's going to be doing. Nobody knows what he's going to be doing. So if there is some credence to that, you have to kind of give a black eye to the state of Florida. And this is one way of doing it. Now, it wasn't as big as people thought it was going to be. If that was the case, I think it was a better strategy of doing that. But to go back and say you're shutting down at 4 o'clock, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like it's as if like, criminal activity is happening. Shut it down, panic. It was too much of an abrupt reaction by the Miami Beach mayor that's different than, is it Suarez?
Francis Suarez is the city of Miami.
He's the city of Miami.
Beach,
this is
Dan
Miami
Gelber.
Beach. Yeah.
Did you bail? Did you leave? Or did you stick around and see some of that?
No, I was at. I took a
mask
boat
on. He stayed there.
I took a boat to a different part of town, a place called Joya. Shout out to my good buddy Marco and Chris Pacello. Those guys have a gorgeous place called Joya. It's across from Fisher Island. Gorgeous place, very local scene or New York tourist. Definitely not spring break. And people got the biggest problem was they shut down all the highways. So if you're like I have a boat, they shut down. You couldn't get to the freaking beach. So if you live in Miami Beach or you're staying in a hotel and you're like, I was just downtown Miami in Wynwood and I had dinner, I saw family, good luck getting back.
What are you talking about?
It was so freaking poorly planned. And then you add on top of that, like they're shutting down streets.
Yeah.
And then all the cops are being moved to the entertainment district, basically between 5th and 16th Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
It's all 3 blocks, Ocean Drive, Collins, and Washington, if you're familiar with South Beach. And there's just partying going on like crazy. So all the cops are going over there, shootings.
Shootings?
Yeah, people shooting bullets up in the air. It was stupid. Yeah. So I do, here's what I'll say, the positive. I do actually applaud your mentality thinking, what was it planned? What's going on? In my opinion, this was just
fluke.
Idiots just
no.
You're telling drunk people.
Absolutely not.
You're telling drunk people.
Look at the video footage
at 4 o'clock.
Not drunk people.
Drunk people.
Negative.
No, what do you mean? I'm telling you, they're out there partying like crazy.
You don't think people can act drunk? That is not the action of drunk people. People get drunk in every city. People get drunk in Maui. They don't do that. All right, they
When's
get,
the-
they
okay,
get
I'm
drunk
gonna
in the
ask-
Hamptons.
I'm going to ask you one question.
Yeah.
When's the last time you went out and partied and drank in South Beach? It's a very
I'm not your
specific
grandfather.
question.
I have done it
Okay,
frequently.
when's the last time?
But I don't know. I mean, a while ago.
What's your
4 or
point
5 years.
with
Yeah.
that?
Point is, these
Meaning
people are
people get
drinking.
drunk in South Beach in
It
a
would
different
happen
way.
more
They're
often
frickin'
if that
wet
was
will-
the case.
But, okay, this is the first time people have been out partying in a year. Pent up demand we're
But
talking about.
but then, do you have a desire to go to jail and get arrested? I haven't been able to party
it's
all
not,
year.
Look, the problem wasn't so much that they were partying and drinking. It's that they're like, oh yeah, now you got to go back to your hotel. They're like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm here on vacation. No, go back to your hotel.
I think there's some people that were probably in that mode.
No,
Yes.
they're like, what? I'm in the middle of having a great time, and you want me to go to my hotel at 7:30, buddy? Not happening. And those people are like, fuck that. So
Case study. You take
Yeah.
Sam with you, a camera,
I'm going,
and Tom,
I'm
and
going,
take him to
I'm-
South
I'm
Beach.
going this
All of you guys
weekend
get
with-
drunk
with
and see
Paul
what
over
happens.
here.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.